Rick Wilson.
Hello, Molly.
Hi, I have this tiny rescue dog with me, Inky.
I am
But
already charmed by this rescue dog. But I heard a rumor that he only likes you.
he only likes me, which is what you need in a rescue dog, is a rescue dog that doesn't like the other members of the family.
Perfect.
That's the key.
Always works out.
Speaking of which, Donald Trump has a math problem, and he has a Senate math problem. So let's talk through the Senate math here.
You know, he is down 2 players right now in the
Right.
Senate. And although you've got a 51-47 idea there, you also do not have a guaranteed vote from, well, you don't have a guaranteed vote from Lindsey Graham anymore.
Right.
Mitch McConnell ain't coming back, folks, unless they do something worse than they did with Dianne Feinstein, which was horrible elder abuse, by the way. If they do that with McConnell and wheel him in life support and robotically poke a vote button, that ain't it. I don't see that happening. You've also got on the sidelines or in the fuckery category, John Cornyn, Tom Tillis, and Bill Cassidy, all of whom are signaling they're off the reservation. So
that's the YOLO caucus, the people who've lost their jobs because of Trump. Coming
and
after
I think,
them
Molly,
in the primary.
the thing to think about here is, without Lindsey Graham, who was on judiciary, kind of like the glue that held a lot of that stuff together.
Right. And who helped Trump move.
Lindsey was the one who would go to the Susan Collinses, the Lisa Murkowskis of the world and say, come on, just help me out on this one. I'll make sure you get something good out of voting for Kavanaugh or voting for Comey Barrett. Let me help me help you, all that bullshit. That's gone.
Yeah.
And now, if I'm Todd Blanche on this fine Sunday afternoon, I'm thinking, well, I guess I'm going to be an acting attorney general.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they can get Todd Blanche through without Lindsey there.
Right. And Lindsey is one of the things that he did, which is really his legacy, was refusing the Merrick Garland nomination, making sure that seat stayed empty. He and Mitch McConnell together made sure that seat stayed empty. And then at the end of Trump's first term, he made sure that Trump was able to put in Amy Coney Barrett.
That is correct.
Even though they had started voting already.
That is correct. And reap what you sow in that kind of thing. And if the extraordinary connections Lindsey had good relationships, let's be real, with Democrats and Republicans, even though he was a Trump, ass kisser from 2017 on. He had good bipartisan relationships. He could pull Democrats on some big things. Occasionally, he never hesitated to pick up the phone to any reporter in D.C. to spin the Trump universe's view of the world. By the way, I said this earlier today. I was talking to somebody about this. The reason you're going to see the mainstream media gushing about Lindsey Graham, bipartisanship, blah, blah, blah. Lindsey was one of the greatest sources for reporters in D.C.
Right.
He would talk to anybody about anything at any time.
And that's a lesson from Biden world, which was the Biden White House refused to talk to the media. And so the media really iced them out. Now, and that was an Andrew Bates problem, right? That was a Biden White House problem, which was they didn't talk to the media hated them. That ultimately undermined them when they needed to communicate with the media.
That's right.
Not that the media is there are people who will say like, oh, the mainstream media is corrupt or whatever. It's not, but it is very small, but you still need them because they do the reporting, which, creates the stories which live on Instagram or on YouTube,
TikTok or whatever. Yeah. Molly, that's exactly right. That's really exactly on point. And a lot of these people that look to Lindsey Graham to translate Trump for them in the media no longer have that. They look at Lindsey as a guy that they knew for 25 years. He was, he's John McCain's wingman. He's this, he's that. He's not a Remember, Lindsey was not a Tea Party Republican. Lindsey was a rhino. Lindsey, on paper, Lindsey was a rhino. Lindsey was an establishment guy. Lindsey was a McConnell kind of guy.
Right.
The transformation in 2017 was disingenuous, but it was so he could continue to have power. He wanted one big thing, and that was a war with Iran. That was Lindsey's number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5
And he got it.
Yeah, and he died knowing it was a fuck up.
Yeah. Part of why Lindsey Graham is so instructive in this moment is because he did the thing loudly that the rest of the Republicans did quietly.
Correct. Correct. He embraced Trump in a public manner that, while it was absurd and while people were like rolling their eyes about it, it still had an impact on the Republican Party that even John McCain's old best friend would somehow side with Trump.
But it
And
also yeah, go on.
no, it just, I can't over exaggerate for people how much Lindsey could make that argument. Well, if I can get with him, you can get with him.
Yeah, but I also think it was both, but it was what was happening with other Republican senators and Republican Congress. It was just that
Sure.
that Lindsey had that tweet where he said that Trump was gonna destroy them all, and but ultimately he
was right.
Yes, but he very much loudly sort of showed us what he was doing. Now, my question at this moment is, you have Trump still wanting the Save America Act. You have the housing bill. A piece of legislation has actually passed. Donald Trump refused to sign it. But it happened anyway, even though he stole the win from Republicans. Explain this to me.
Molly, so as folks may know by now, he refused to sign the bill. But if the president doesn't sign the bill has a certain window of time when it becomes law. It has become the law of the land. The housing bill is the law of the land. But instead of Republicans being able to go out and say, I passed a housing bill for you, America. Right. Look what I did for you. They now know if they say that Trump will be pissed at them, right, because they will be defying what he wanted, which was passing the Save America Act, which Mike Johnson's going to bring it back one more time in the House. It's still not going to pass.
There's no
votes for it. It is a zombie bill at this point, but his obsession with it really speaks volumes about how much they need to cheat in this election to win.
Right. But it's interesting to me too about this housing bill, because I'm just curious, like, what is in it?
Molly, it is not even that big of a deal. Right. It does have a ban on private equity buying up residential neighborhoods. Great. Which I'm fine with that, by the way. I'm fine with that ban. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in it that apparently is kind of meritorious, but it's not. This is, if you want to talk about like a bipartisan win, this is like a one out of, on a scale of 1 to 5, this is a 2 on a really good day.
Right.
It's just not that important overall if you're trying to make America more affordable for families, this is barely getting there.
Right. I mean, it is interesting. Like, you have Trump is in this moment where all he wants is the end of the war in Iran, right?
Oh, yeah.
There is zero, he made this offer to them that was like, I'll give you all this cash. Like, it was the offer was, I feel like, what they said Obama did with the Iran nuclear deal, right? He was
I would say it's actually worse than that, Molly.
No, but it was the pallets of cash. It was whatever you want.
The planes full of money.
Yeah. And they were like, no. They were like, no. I mean,
the fact that the Iranians have absolutely figured out Trump's bullshit where Republicans in Congress cannot, to my mind, is a absolutely glorious, glittering irony that I will never get over.
But I also think part of it is that the Iranians do not operate like they are a serious religious country that, well, you may or may not agree with that. I certainly don't agree with some of these radical.
Yeah. Oh no.
tenets.
Yeah. They're not good guys.
No, but they don't operate by the way that we operate. They're not capitalists. So Trump was like, I'll cut you in.
They're willing to burn their country to the ground.
Yes.
Because you know what? When Trump says, I'm going to bomb the water treatment plants, they don't mind if they lose a couple million people. It makes their control stronger.
Yeah. And that is what is so insane about this moment. Trump offered them the thing he's offered everybody else.
Right.
They were like,
nah, pass.
Meh. The straits closed, basically. No, Trump saying this morning on the Sunday shows that they're open. You had Kristen Walker say, well, what we're hearing is from CENTCOM is they're closed. He said, I'm really here to talk about Lindsey Graham.
Look, this is a administration right now that is in a very desperate position. We are running out of supplies. We can't keep up the pace of bombing in Iran right now. We are running out of the missiles and guided munitions we need to do that. The Defense Department is telling us they're going to need another $1 trillion this year somehow. Where is that shit coming from? Because I got to tell you, we're not killing it economically right now. So we're going to either borrow another $1 trillion for Pete Hegseth, or we're not going to keep fighting this war with Iran. This has been a strategic misjudgment. And again, Lindsey Graham sold his soul to Donald Trump to get a war with Iran and died knowing how badly Donald Trump had fucked it up. For people looking for some karmic comfort in this, there you go.
Let's just go through this for a minute. Eventually, gas prices, Donald Trump will not be able to manipulate. Eventually, Donald Trump will not be able to manipulate the public markets.
That is correct. And I think we're very close to that moment now, because even these guys who very much are in Donald Trump's fiscal camp they have fiduciary duties to their hedge funds and their investors and all that. I don't think it's going to be easy to keep pretending that everything's fine. I mean, look, in Russia right now, Ukraine has dismantled Russia's energy infrastructure one drone at a time. We're going to reach that point in this country where we are not able to pretend that we've got fertilizer and gasoline that is coming out of the Gulf. It just, you can't make that shit up after a certain amount of time.
But I also think what happens now is that eventually gas prices go up again.
Yeah.
And because they've come down.
The Freedom Fuels have already raised their gas prices to $2.79.
Right. So what's going to,
excuse me.
Right. So we're going to see, but eventually when the strait, you still have these straits that they're not passing through at the same numbers that they were. So eventually the gas prices will go back up. And it will get to be fall, and we will still have these affordability issues, right? Inflation will still be raging. Trump is not going to get a rate cut.
We might get a market crash.
Right. Kevin Warsh is just one vote. He's not going to be able to make everyone else vote. And
there's some bitterness. I've heard there's some bitterness there that he's not out leading the rate cut fight with bells on.
I mean, and we now know the Supreme Court says you can fire everyone else but the Fed chair, right?
Yep.
So you have Donald Trump cruising into the midterms with the worst possible macro landscape. And then you have, and I'd like to go back to this idea for a minute, that you have that Lindsey Graham he is up for re-election. So he was up for re-election. So talk us through what that means.
There's a special election happens 2 weeks after he's confirmed to be dead. The window opens for people to qualify. It lasts for, I think, a week. And then we're going to have a special election on this for the primary is going to be happening right, the next month and a half. And you're going to get, so apparently Joe Wilson, the elder sort of statesman down there in the Republican Party, is sort of the placeholder appointee, apparently. Trump wants this guy named Lynch. There are other people to the right of him who want to jump in. Our good friend Nancy Mace wants to jump in. And the first thing I said this morning, I woke up to the news of Lindsey's passing, and I said, 6 more weeks of Nancy Mace.
So let's talk this through for a minute, because you're going to have, South Carolina is not North Carolina, right? North Carolina, much bluer than South Carolina.
Much.
Talk us through sort of what the landscape is.
So look, we've seen the Democratic nominee there has done very well. She was within 3 points of Lindsey. It was always an uphill climb. The bad news for Democrats is that it is a very, very red state, and also extremely crimson and scarlet, and also red. The good news is no one who is going to be the nominee on the Republican Party has the name ID that Lindsey Graham had. And South Carolina kind of always gave Lindsey Graham a pass. He wasn't a Tea Partier, but they still supported him because he liked things like Like he was a big Israel guy and a big, which Israel and South Carolina, I don't know how it works, but it does.
Remind us who had that seat before Lindsey Graham.
Oh, that would be Mr. Strom Thurmond.
Right. Go on. Yes, continue. I just wanted to point that out to
So I want to give you my one Strom Thurmond story I have. I was a young campaign aide for the Bush campaign. He was down in Florida doing some events, and I see Strom Thurmond take a Ziploc bag out of his coat pocket at a buffet and stuff shrimp into it and then put it back in his coat pocket. And I asked his body guy, I'm like, does he just want that for later? He goes, yeah, you won't eat it in the room later.
Anyway, yeah.
And for me, I'd forget the fucking baggie, and then I'd have to throw the whole jacket away.
Well, he probably did too. But the point of this is that this is really a red seat.
Yeah, Georgia has shifted to be more purple again. North Carolina has become more purple again, and tipping blue, I would argue.
And also North Carolina, this Senate seat is like, he was a governor.
That's in the rear view. Cooper is...
Yeah.
Cooper's like the unsung superhero candidate, right? He's not getting the credit of a Tallarico or a Josh Sand, but man, or an Ossoff. He's crushing
Rob
it.
Sand.
Rob Sand, excuse me.
But he's a governor, gubernatorial. It's Turek who's the...
Turek.
But yeah, I mean...
He's doing pretty well too.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, like, if we're talking about the Senate map, I mean, obviously Trump is worried, and it's only going to get the macro is only going to get worse for him. So...
correct.
They're going to try to cheat, and they fired these election officials, and there's going to be a lot of them trying to make it hard for you to vote. But that said, the Senate seats, I think there's a world in South Carolina where you have if you have a really bad primary, where people fight, and it runs into September, and you don't necessarily have, you have Trump doing one thing and Nancy Mace doing another thing and 5 other people doing something, where it ends up just being the perfect storm.
If it's loud and ugly and stupid with the Republican primary, which I think it will be, and again, because there are people who are going to be to the right of Trump's guy, which, think about that for a second. So you're going to see
what happens when you shift the Overton window.
Right. The Overton window is so far in the rear view window that it's ridiculous now. I think you're right. We could get a perfect storm. And Andrews has done a great campaign. She did frame that campaign around Lindsey, but I think that campaign can be reframed around any of these MAGA guys who are going to have less name ID and less of a long running tradition of people going, oh, there's Lindsey, I'm voting for him again. He's a guy who ran for Congress 3 times, and this is his 4th congressional or Senate. So I mean, none of these guys have that same level of familiarity with the voters.
Right.
We'll see how it goes, but it's if you're John Thune, this is not the race you wanted to have to worry about.
Yeah.
You did not want to have to add this to your list of woes in the year of our Lord 2026.
Yeah, and I think that's also a really good point, which is this is now money suck, time suck.
Yep.
And, more like MAGA versus MAGA fighting.
And Trump's attention will turn onto this at key points in the next few weeks. And it will be more loyalty checking and more, he'll drive them to the edge of things that even the voters in South Carolina are like, come on, man, talk about fucking gas prices. I can't handle this.
Right.
I can't handle more election denial bullshit or whatever.
Yeah, and it could come into the primary. So that, I think, is definitely another, Republicans need, Democrats need to keep all their seats and flip 3, but really 4 because of Fetterman.
4.
Yeah, but Republicans...
And look, we don't know what's going to happen in Kentucky yet. That's a very long shot game in Kentucky. But there's a really good chance Mitch McConnell will be in a refrigerator before that August deadline about him being incapacitated. And I'm encouraging Governor Beshear. He put out a statement or a tweet today about, like, we're asking all we can. It's confusing. It's weird. Governor, we love you. You got to push this harder.
Yeah.
You got to push this harder.
And one other thing, which there is a candidate in Kentucky who is a congressman who has lost his seat.
And this, by the way, I would tell you, the thought of Thomas Massey getting into a Senate special in Kentucky absolutely is going to drive the establishment there out of their goddamn minds.
Yeah.
And if you're
Even
Thomas Massey, you would be formidable in that. You
right.
would you would not have the same long haul money fight that Trump was able to hand Ed Galreen, and they were
Mhm.
able to hand Ed Galreen a vast amount of resources to run against Massey in that congressional special. I think you could see Thomas Massey be very competitive. And if McConnell's not alive, the people that have been saying he's alive are in some big trouble.
Right. I think so that would mean that Scott Jennings would not have had a
I think that would mean
20-minute
Scott.
phone call
No, look,
with
Scott
him.
Jennings wants to have that seat too, by the way, folks. He wants to run for Senate. I think there are a lot of plays going on in this McConnell window that would have been difficult for the Republicans before Graham died, but now I think it's even more difficult. I think they're going to
Yeah,
have a lot of trouble getting appointments through, Molly. I really do.
this well, this is a math problem disaster for Republicans,
Huge,
so
huge,
huge.
huge.
Rick Wilson,
Molly Jong-Fast, as always, my friend. Can I come back?
you can come back.